Hello, everybody, and welcome back to Indiethon Spring 2023. We have switched roles around here. Now, Ruffle Bricks will be on the commentary side, and Mablak will be running Worms Armageddon for us. Even though we've already had a couple of Armageddons in the run before, but I guess we are here for the real deal. So, Mablak, take it away.
Howdy, gang. So, all right, Ruffle did an awesome job on Worms World Party just now, and I'm just going to show you Worms Armageddon, the 1999 Team 17 Classic, part of the original 3 trilogy of just impeccably amazing Worms games. And you've maybe seen this run before. I might show you a couple new things. But we're just going to get right into it. And so there was a donation that came in. It was slightly late for the Worms World Party run, but our team name is going to be Sophie. Thanks for that donation. And voice pack is the same, Angry Scots. So our run is just going to be basic training, followed by 33 missions. Ruffled Bricks is going to be handling most of the heavy commentary. And I think we can just get started here. And okay. I'm just going to set myself a timer as I start as well. So let's see. So we got 1, 2. So I'll just give us a little countdown. So, okay, 3, 2, 1, and start.
All right, good luck, Mablak. So yes, this is the Worms Armageddon all missions any percent run. Starting off with basic training here. The reason you have to do basic training at the top of this run is because the game won't actually allow you to do the missions unless you complete these 9 basic training modules. As you can see, they're kind of a primer on the weapons of the game, the base weapons. You've seen some of them in the World Party run that we just had, but we had grenade and shotgun training to begin with, and now this is bazooka training. If you didn't notice it in the World Party run, basically bazooka is a weapon that is affected by wind, so you have to use specific angles when shooting behind you on that one. And here is the ninja rope training. Ninja rope, as you've seen, is a very useful weapon for getting around the maps in these games. They have an infinite amount of shots that you can do whilst you are airborne. But once you land back on the ground again, that is the end of the rope's usefulness. So some missions will have limited ropes, others will have unlimited. That grenade training there, the second one, same as the original grenade training, but 1 extra target has been added. So that just basically alerts you to the fact that you can change the fuse of the grenades, so that you changed it from 1 second to 2 seconds on that part. And now this is the fire punch training. Pretty easy, this one. It's more of a puzzle. You just have to fire punch that crate there so you can get 2 more fire punches so you can get the targets off to the left. Second ninja rope training here. This one, you just have to drop a dynamite from the rope onto the target as you are airborne. You cannot land on that platform because the dynamite will kill you and you need to survive in that one. And a little thing that Mablak is doing at the end of the missions, you notice we were doing something called end skip in Worms World Party, where we used Alt F4 to quit out of the missions to get to these the congratulations screen quicker. Mablak's doing a sort of variation on that here. You can use Alt F4, but only during the fade out at the end of the mission, and that takes you back to the congratulations screen ever so slightly quicker. So it's a little trick we call fade skip that we're using, and into the actual missions here.
Okay, I
so
am attempting the Mexi just once.
Yes. So this trick here, Mablak is going to do a roping trick here. It's called a big Mexi, whereby what happens, as you can see, if you do an overarm fling with the rope, then your worm will shoot backwards, which means that you can actually affix your rope to the side of the pumpkin there and grab the crate that you have to get to complete that mission. You use pause buffering just to ensure that you got the right frame in order to do that. This second mission here is called Operation Market Garden. Object of this one is to kill all the enemy worms. The first thing that Mablak's done here is he's placed a grenade and he jumped onto the grenade in a specific position so that it blows him over to here. He did that immediately because the RNG in this game changes every frame. There's a bunch of variables that affect the RNG. But basically, if you do that shot immediately as the mission starts, then you can get this wonderful AI manipulation, having done that blowtorch on the right there, whereby the sentry piles the 3 grenadiers together with himself like that. Mablak's now going to use the blowtorch here to just get his grenade up to a higher angle, and he's now using a 4-second grenade here that will get the worms into a specific spot. One of them is going to take enough damage that they explode from grave damage, and the second one here is going to explode as well, and the other 2 are now going to go into the water, like so. In this game, we try and plop as many worms into the water as we can rather than doing weapon damage and killing them on land, just because it's quicker to do so, especially if you're killing several worms at once. Now, in this third mission here, All Quiet in the Library, this one is called. You may have seen this map earlier in a different form. What Mablak just did there is he quit out the mission 4 times before he started it. He also quit out the last mission once before he started it. In that instance, it was due to changing the RNG seed. This time round, it's to ensure that we get more of the pity crates that I described earlier. Normally, you only get 2 crates dropping in this mission. Mablak's done it so we get 4. And this is important because it means that Mablak can do a special strat here. You'll notice that he named Worm 2 as Worm 2, by the way. The reason that he did that is because he uses that visual cue of the worm's long name there to line that bat up quickly, which he then bats the worm off the side of that crate and knocking all 3 of them into the water in one go as a trick shot there.
Long name strats.
Yes, indeed.
I wonder if any
So
other
imagine-
games use that. I'm sure that must happen in like some other game.
If anyone does know of any games that do that, then do let us know in chat. We will watch the chat log back because we're that vain. Well, I am anyway. Now, this second turn here, Mablak is batting that grenadier into the water, and we're going to hope for good RNG here because unlike the last mission, it's not really possible to manipulate the RNG seed in this one for some reason. So because of that, this field soldier, ideally, we want them to make a pilgrimage all the way over to the right where the other field soldier is, or at least fairly close to them.
Okay.
This is because that Mablak is going to get a double damage crate on the left-hand side, and that will enable him to do an airstrike, which kills both of them off. This is not a bad outcome that we got here. It's not quite optimum, but it's still pretty good. So that shotgun there has hit Worm 5. Because Worm 5 is now out of the field soldier's line of sight for this shot, he's going to walk over to the right here, fire at Worm 6, and now both of them are quite close together. There's a bazooka turn that the field soldier can do there as well, which is slightly quicker. But this is also very workable.
Yeah, pretty good outcome.
Yes, Mablak now is going to rope over to the left-hand side to grab the double damage crate, and he's going to drop the airstrike onto the field soldiers. And as you can see, big damage, big explosions from those, and kills them off both at a time. And now, you notice Mablak's fiddling around with the background on this one. He has now switched the background on to full layers so that you can actually see the wind debris in the background, and this is pivotal for the timing that he's going to try and do on this next mission here. This mission is called Cool as Ice. Object is to stop this guard here from blowing up the North Pole. He's going to do this with one weapon, hopefully. He's watching the background debris here for a specific visual cue in the background, whereby if he fires the Uzi at those crates above the guards, then they will blow the crates up, and the fire seeds that we get from that will actually push the guard straight into the water. You'll notice that he got that straight away. If you don't get that, it's fine. You have to then get a second crate on the following turn, which has a flamethrower in it. But ideally, you want to try and get that timing there so that you can get one.
Yeah, it's just like a 10-second time save.
Yeah, absolutely. Now, this mission here is called Do the Locomotion. This first turn here, Mablak did a very specific fire punch there on that first worm. You've actually only got a 3-frame window in which you can pull that off when doing the back jump. But what it does is, as you can see, there's a little spur at the bottom there that enables Mablak to jump up there. And what he's trying to do now, and he didn't quite get it on.
I got an evil outcome. I got snagged on the cliff.
Yes, bungees, as you may have seen from earlier, can be very fiddly to operate. But what he's done there, because of the way he's done this fire punch there, there's this little nub of terrain on the side of the tree there that he's going to do this bungee off. And he's going to use the bungee to fling himself. Ideally, we want to get next to that blue crate there. because that contains a jetpack that will enable Mablak to get to the crate that we need to get in order to complete this mission. There's the bungee fling,
Yay.
and that's pretty much an
Perfect.
optimum outcome.
I give that a
there to
98.
land.
That's a 98% good bungee.
98, yeah. There's actually an IL strat whereby like it's optimum to actually land on the train without losing the turn, but that is extremely difficult to do. So here now it's just jetpacking across to grab the crate, and he's skipping go there because it just takes you back to the congratulations screen ever so slightly quicker than waiting for the game to realize that you completed that mission. Now, this mission here is called Sand in Your Eye. Object to this one is to kill all the enemy worms off, although the menu screen tells you that the object is actually to collect a crate that's going to spawn on top of the pyramid in several turns' time. That's too long-winded for us, so what Mablak's doing here, setting that mine off, which is going to blow the left-hand mine onto a worm who's off-screen. Mablak has actually set the camera specifically here so that he can focus on this shot here, so that he can get the right angle where he fires the bazooka and piles those 2 sentries next to the palm tree at a very specific position there.
Yeah.
If you leave the camera on automatic, it will try and prioritize the death of the worm on the left there. So that's why Mablak switched that off.
Yeah. Now I'm going to try and get a triple kill using arrow. And so bow is like one of 2 weapons in the game where you actually get 2 shots. And that's extremely useful in just so many situations. So here, it's going to be useful because we can kill this guy. And you have to get
mine there.
Yeah, you have to get a pretty exact bounce off that barrel and then into the mine. And here, I'm going to try and shoot this mine into these 2 guys, and then hopefully they will perish. Let's see.
You have to line that quite specifically, and there we go.
Okay,
Both
we got
on
it.
there.
What's scary about that, you have to get the exact right angle, you have to stand in the exact right spot. One cool way that we use to like line up the exact right spot, the worms, if they're standing on a slope, their butts will be sort of angled up, but if they're standing on flat land, they'll just be like, their bottoms will just be straight. So we get to a spot where the worm's butt is just straight, and that helps us. Yeah, it's butt strats.
Yeah, pay attention to your worm's butts if you're speedrunning this game. It's very important.
Crucial.
Now, Mablak here is going to try and do a rope knock. Rope knocking is kind of strange in this game, at least for deathmatch, because the worms are technically affixed to the terrain. If you try and rope knock them normally, because rope knocking is disabled. What Mablak did there is he dropped a grenade to create the hole to knock the worm in, and then just as the grenade finished its 3-second timer, he did the knock there, because basically then because you're outside of turn time, you can do the knock. They basically are all released. And speaking of rope strats, Mablak going to try a pretty ambitious one here. This mission is called Not Mushroom out there. Mablak, whilst he's on a rope here, is actually placing the girders in the air, and then during the 5 seconds of retreat time that you get, which is really not that much, he used the rope there to swing all the way over and grab that crate. And that is phenomenal to be able to do that.
Thank you.
First try in a marathon. So I think that deserves some claps in chat if you haven't already done so. This mission here is called Big Shot, or Big Frog, as we like to call it. Object of this one is to kill all the enemy worms off. The menu tells you get an infinite amount of shotgun bullets. You actually don't, but what you do get are some longbows. And Mablak is going to spend the first term using these longbows to knock the sentries onto the nearby mines, because longbow arrows only do 15 damage each. So you need a little bit of extra weaponry there to polish them off.
Okay, got the first 2 dead. And this sentry, so I'm standing in a spot that's going to give us a little bit of a CPU manip. The sentry's going to walk left, and, well, he's going to walk right first. Encounter the mine, then walk left. Mines are like natural barriers for the CPU. So he shoots at the frog, he blinds the frog. The frog will recover later in a cutscene after the game. Okay,
Yeah,
now
we're skipping cutscenes for speed reasons though in this game.
Yeah,
I'm afraid
yeah,
to.
exactly.
I have to imagine the frog's eye being patched up.
Yeah.
Now Mablak is swinging across to the right, to left here. Sorry, he's going to get an old woman out of this crate here, and he's going to release that onto the guard. And you noticed he killed that worm on the right off there by setting off the mine that he was stood next to, which then blew him into the adjacent mine.
Oh, I
And
like
this is optimum here as well. Yeah, this is a very good juggle here.
That's just a fun
So the
outcome.
old woman there blew that worm onto the mine, and that knocked him in. And you notice there the damage for the sentry on the right doesn't get counted until the turn is over there. If you were to dismount from the rope earlier, then the game would try and count up the damage. But as it stands, because Mablak was on the rope for the whole time of there, then we got to count those two damages together, which is just slightly quicker. Now this mission, I think, brings out a cold sweat in a lot of people who did this game casually. This mission is called Water Surprise. Object is to kill off the enemy worm who is underneath the Eiffel Tower. In order to do that, we need to climb the Eiffel Tower and get a crate that contains an aqua sheep, as the weapons we've got at the moment are just longbows and a girder, so we can't actually get through this indestructible terrain as a result. So what Mablak's doing here, he used the first turn with some precise shots with the longbows to get those mines out of the way. And then this second turn here, he's placed the girder at a specific position here so that as he uses the backflip to climb up, the girder will actually deflect his worm in a specific way so that he can climb up like so, without having to use any other apparatus. It's now high enough, this girder, so that you can just get a aqua sheep with a backflip. And what you're supposed to do there is guide the sheep all the way around and under the water to kill the enemy worm off. But if you just hit space as the sheep takes flight, then that actually deactivates the sheep's flight so that it drops straight down, hits the guard, and knocks them into the water.
Okay.
So this next mission here is Jurassic Worm.
Jurassic Worm.
This
Just
is
have to
one-
kill a just have to kill a general worm who's like underneath this Brachiosaurus. So I get a mole bomb, and we launch this mole down. I also set off a mine at the same time. Oh, the mine
Nice.
rolls down the mole hole, kills the dude, and that's it.
Yeah, this is one of 3 kill the leader missions in the game, and 2 of them, I would say, are a couple of the most fun missions in the game, including that one. Now this mission here is called Chemical Warfare. Object of this one, it's another kill them all mission. Most of them are kill them all missions, unless we say otherwise. But this one is a bit weird because it's indestructible terrain, and you'll notice there's some quite low health worms in about the terrain there. We don't have much in the way of weapons to be able to kill them off, but we've got fire punches. And so we're going to be using some of those to actually transcend the thinner parts of the terrain there in order to kill those off in one shot, as fire punches do a guaranteed 30 HP. And what we're doing, though, is that basically the biggest problem, the biggest choke point in this mission is the major in the very middle there, the one who's by the orange liquid. What we want to do is we want to do a specific setup here in order to get the major to walk all the way to the right of that chamber. Mablak started this mission by resetting once so that he got a crate that contained a dynamite. And a dynamite does quite a powerful explosion, same size as the sheep from the previous mission. So he's going to use that to try and kill a couple of those worms off on the right. But we need the major to be to the right. And in order to do that, Mablak is placing his worms in very specific positions at the end of each turn here to ensure that is going to be set up correctly.
Yeah, it's a difficult manip to get. It was like we tried a bunch of different things, and for some reason, what I do on the next turn is basically going to get us that manip where this major walks to the right. So I just have to get over here, bat this field soldier. Okay, just doing some roping, and I just have to retreat to a pretty precise spot. So right here, and for whatever reason, I don't fully understand it, this will manip the major into walking right. So he's also going to do an airstrike targeting Worm 3, and if we're lucky, he could kill this field soldier worm. Ooh.
Looks pretty good.
Oh.
Let's see.
Ah.
Oh, not quite. Not quite. Yeah, sometimes you can get the full 70 damage there, but it's pretty rare that that happens. Because of the way that the RNG works in this game, the more turns you have before you want to try and manipulate something like that, the harder it is to manipulate it. So we don't really have a way of
Yeah,
ensuring that that always happens, unfortunately. But
alas. In Worms 2, we can actually control, like, all the RNG pretty much, but in Armageddon World Party, not quite so much. So we'll just finish this guy off with, let's go Overkill.
yeah, the RNG advances on every frame in this game, whereas in Worms 2, I think it's more based on the Worms idle animations,
Right,
which push
yeah.
the RNG seed along. So
Yeah.
Mablak, they're using the minigun, which you saw earlier in World Party, just to finish him off. Bit overkill for 7 HP, but
Yeah, agreed.
yes. Now this mission brings back the Lord's favorite projectile. It is the Holy Hand Grenade. What's going to happen here is Mablak is going to go up to this artillery here. He's going to place a Holy Hand Grenade right next to them. And I believe he's going to try and do this at a specific time as well in order to manipulate the field soldier's turn. But basically, the way that he's positioned that Holy Hand Grenade there blows Worm 1 onto the field soldier on the left, knocking them in. It also blows the artillery over to the field soldier on top of the palm tree. Artillery takes a fatal amount of damage as a result of that intervention there, knocking the field soldier into the water with the grave damage, and we get what we like to call the Holy Trinity.
Holy Trinity. Oh, yeah. And ideally, so with the right timing, we can have this guy hit himself into the water. I could tell I didn't get it. It's really hard to get. There's like 2 frames. And I also haven't practiced it quite enough, I don't think. Yeah. But it doesn't matter. So we can shoot this guy down with a precise shotgun shot. And then I want to get over to this major worm really fast, so I just nudge right twice. And if I do that, I know that I can just keep jumping uninhibited all the way to this major worm. Get on his head.
That's a new one on me, the double nudge there.
The double nudge? You gotta have the double nudge.
I was going right down to the side of the rock and like jumping from there.
Yeah, it doesn't. It's just like it's a micro optimization, you know.
Yeah.
Oh, this.
Oh yeah, but those are the most fun. Sometimes.
They are. Yeah.
Right. So this mission here is can be quite an intimidating one for a newer speedrunner. This one is called "Who Let the Floodgates Open." Mablak did a very specific set of jumps there in order to be able to climb up to the top of that green barrel, just because you need kind of sub-pixel specific position there to actually get that backflip to get up there. And now what Mablak did there is he did a 3-second max bounce grenade off the floor to bounce the grenade up to the secret agent there. What that does is it knocks the secret agent down into what we call the drowning threshold, because you'll notice the water is rising considerably between every turn here. It also knocked the mine up there on the claw over to the other secret agent, knocking them down. And then this field soldier here, because of Worm 1 being left there as bait, it actually manipulates them into walking down into the drowning threshold as they try to attack Worm 1 as well. So you basically get 3 kills for the price of 1 off the back of that 1 grenade.
Yeah, it's pretty nice. And then, so right now, typically you wouldn't want to ever like waste a turn just like laying a girder like I just did, but we do have to wait for Ninja Rope to actually be active. So we kind of have a turn to burn. And the best way to burn it is just to like get up here with a really quick turn, and then we'll just bat that worm next turn. Okay.
We were examining homing missile, weren't we, as an opportunity?
Yeah.
Once, but we didn't really. Nothing really came of that.
Yeah, it's just kind of like a turn you got to waste. Yeah. So that secret agent who just went, he can do a lot of things. He can teleport. He can walk to the right. And now this next secret agent who's going on the left side. So these two are dangerous worms. There's a lot of RNG that can happen in this final portion of the run. If he gets rightward wind, he should open up. It looks like he'll probably open up for me by shooting upwards and hitting the crate. Okay. Lovely.
Excellent.
Okay. So I think what I'm going to do here, this is the improv section. So I'm just going to make a hole with grenade on the bottom secret agent.
Yeah, there's many different ways that this part of the mission could go. Like the first 3 turns are pretty much scripted. After that, you then have to start kind of. There's like a baseline set of strats that you'll use for this section, but you kind of have to be on your toes.
Right. And I hit here because typically, I say typically, typically he doesn't fire at you. He'll just skip go.
Yeah.
But
Yeah, I know.
yeah,
Basically, the way that the CPU works in this game is they always try and do something if they can. And if that means they can't hit any of your worms directly, they will at least kind of fire vaguely in the direction of your worms. Or alternatively, if they can't get a good aim on one of your worms, they will try and do a bad aim on one of their worms. So they'll actually fire at one of their worms through like at terrain, but the terrain will be in the way. So it'll stop them from actually damaging themselves. And very precise longbow shot there from Mablak to get Secret Agent down into the drowning threshold. He's wasting the second arrow there because now we need to wait and the water will do the rest.
just let the water do the work.
Oh.
That's what I always say.
But yeah, that can be a very scary mission, that one, for when you first start learning this run, because like there's not many safe places to hide.
Oh yeah,
in
it's
that bit
super
there.
evil.
Now,
Oof.
this is called Super Sheep to the Rescue. Mablak reset the mission once just to get a nearer crate than the one you're supposed to get in here. And he's basically just going to guide the Super Sheep around this maze here, the bowels of the British countryside, and he's going to grab that fire punch there. Both these worms here, you can see, are artillery worms, and to kill the guard off, you have to use the fire punch. It was when this game first came out that you could just blow the Super Sheep up where you stood, and that would kill both the worms off, but the game didn't really care if your worm survived. It only cared if the enemy worm perished. That at some point got patched out of this game, so you have to do the Super Sheep method for that one now. And this is called Hot Stuff, this mission. And this features, I think, one of the most spectacular moves in the game. There's 3 worms here with 300 HP each. What Mablak's done is he's grabbed a double damage crate. He's now going to do a special backflip on the edge of Field Marshal there to line up his quarter pixel position. And that is going to ensure that this move here goes right. He's placed the Holy Hand Grenade in a specific position, and he's placed his worm in a specific position so that it knocks the lower 2 worms into the water. It blows his worm up next to the top Field Marshal. And because that worm takes so much damage, he's then going to do grave damage here to the Field Marshal, knocking them down the pipe and into the water.
Yeah, second Holy Trinity. It is weird that there's 2 of them, you know? I don't know why.
I think it was on purpose. Like this is
it's heretical.
Trouble on Mount Wormmore, this mission. Some of your favorite famous worms might be carved into this mountain here. Pretty basic one, this one. This is a kill the leader mission. Mablak is just roping across to the left-hand side here. You get 2 ropes, and Mablak stopped halfway through after the first one just to get a better position on the second one. Then you get the kamikaze there. You just cami straight down like that. That creates a tunnel in the floor that knocks the worm into it, and all of the enemy worms surrender.
Also did an animation cancel, if you want to explain that.
Yes, basically, when you do a Fire Punch, Dragon Ball, or Kamikaze, if you do a jump just before you set that off, then it actually cancels out the animation at the beginning of the move, which saves you a second with each one of those. There's actually one you can do here on this mission as well with the Fire Punch. I don't know if Mablak is going to do it, but this one is called Chateau Assassin. Object here is this is the final kill the leader mission in the game, and there's a worm in the bottom right that we want to kill off here. What Mablak is doing here, he used the first turn to basically make a worm pyramid there so he could climb up onto this higher platform here. He used the select worm facility so he could switch between worms during the turn. And now what he's going to do is he's going to grab a crate that will give us the weapon that we need in order to be able to pull this off. He's got the low gravity there. You only get that low gravity as a result of resetting the mission 4 times before you start this mission. He's now going to set the low gravity. He's going over to grab this Fire Punch crate, and now he's switching mid-turn to this worm here. He's going to do a Fire Punch with an animation cancel there off the oil drum. It blows worm 3 next to the general, hitting the mine.
3 skips.
And then we get 3 skims across there. We never get more than that, sadly. So
Yeah. Alas. Okay, that was pretty good. And I did realize recently something I'd forgot. That mission still can go haywire. Like a little flamelet can actually nick the worm once you hit the barrel. It's just very rare, like with the current setup.
Yeah, I'd say that strat is pretty much 99% effective, I think. Like, there are backups you can do if it fails, but they're a little bit long-winded.
Yeah, now we're on to Rescue Agent Dennis.
Yes.
And your worm is apparently a monster of a worm, a secret agent of some kind. Presumably Agent Dennis. Whoa, that crate doesn't usually spawn there.
Yeah, the crates in this one are a little bit random, and they can spawn in slightly unpleasant places here and there. That wasn't too bad, though. Actually, that helped out with what Mablak was trying to do, which was to manipulate that assassin into shooting himself down into the E of Team 17. Mablak now just used a napalm strike on that turn there, which you can only really do if the wind is going to the right on that turn. If you do it to the left, there's a high chance one of the worms will survive.
Yeah, I did luck out a bit there. I've been like very hesitant about using napalm. I find it easier to just use dynamite and then rope knock. In this case, we didn't need to knock the assassin down. He knocked himself down on turn 1. And typically the right worm that's on that M will usually survive. And we have this shot here, so a homing missile shot. So I get it to an exact location on the worm's tail, just the meat of the tail. We shoot the homing. Usually that worm knocks into the other worm that was still there, but just pretend that worm was, still there and didn't die.
Yeah, pretend that shot looked more impressive than it did.
Yes.
And now, speaking of impressive, you're going to see some impressive amounts of damage coming up, because this mission introduces another favorite weapon of many people. They're
just nailing themselves. Oh my god.
The banana bomb here, but Mablak's going to use it in a slightly odd way. He's going to do what's called a banana trick. He's standing on the side of the enemy worm's head there, chucking it underneath the worm's bottom, and because of the way the clusters from the banana come out, his worm absorbs all of them, creating this massive explosion there, which I don't know if you saw the damage that came up in the sea there, but like some of those worms took over 400 damage. That's very powerful.
And there were no grave animations, all plops, which is fantastic. So like that always saves us a lot of time.
Yeah. Now this mission here is called Horny Nuke for reasons that only the developers know, I think. Object of this one, I guess you could kind of call this a shopper mission. We don't start with many weapons here, so Mablak has just used the rope to grab several of them that he can use to complete this mission. And he's doing a slightly, I'd say, more dangerous route, this one, in some regards. Although what he's done is he's actually done a route that gives you 4 ninja ropes rather than 2, which is a little safer in some regards. But this is the dangerous part here. He's dropping a banana bomb down there to try and kill these 4 worms off. Looking pretty good. Yes.
Oh, okay, I lucked out. So yeah, we see this the blinking crate in the lower left side of the map. If you destroy that, the mission is over. And sometimes the banana lits will always, like, a bunch of them will just go to the left and destroy the crate. I just use this method because it's like, if you get it, it's faster, but things can go horribly wrong.
Yeah, absolutely. So now on this turn here, Mablak is lining up another fairly specific grenade here. He's going to use this to blow this sniper into the other sniper to the left there, just so that they are both pitted. He's also positioning his worm on top of the sniper's head there, just to get it closer.
I've never done that before.
Have you not? That's a never happened before special for Indiethon?
I just thought of that. Maybe I should just do that from now on. Because, like, sometimes you get caught with your rope.
Yeah.
You know?
I might try that next time I do this run.
Yeah, like, I just, like, stopped thinking about it and just came up with that. Weird, but let's roll with it.
You're watching live routing and speed running in this one. So as you can see there, Mablak used, I think, the final grenade there to just kill those 2 off by chucking that down. And now it's artillery. Shout out to artillery, probably the most useless worm in the run. Mablak is going to use, I think, probably the final Holy Hand Grenade of the run here. So if you haven't had the chance to sing along with it yet, please do not pass it up. Your chance to sing along with one of the most musically gifted weapons in the game. Now, what Mablak's trying to do here is trying to get a one shot on the artillery.
Close.
And he didn't quite get it. It's down to flame RNG on that one, really, in order to be able to get it. You can't really get the Holy Hand Grenade any closer than that, because if you do, you will actually end up blowing up that crate, which, as Mablak mentioned earlier, that will fail the mission if you blow that up. So
Right.
you have to throw it above.
Yeah, luckily artillery just skips go. You can just nail him with Uzi right after that if you don't kill him. Just want to rumble in the farmyard.
Yeah, this one is a favorite of mine. I don't know if Mablak feels quite the same way, but the strat on this is just, it wonderfully comes together over the course of these turns here. First thing Mablak's doing there is just straight away firing a bazooka shot at the garden fork in the middle. As that is happening, it knocks the mine on top of the fork onto the field soldier there. And Mablak did a back jump onto that mine there as well, just to give Worm 1 some damage, and also to put him in a position where he ensures Worm 2 doesn't get plopped. This is important because we need both worms in order to make this strat work. Mablak is now doing a rope fling to get his worm over to the left-hand side. He got it, very nice. And now he's grabbing these two crates with the rope there. One contains a cluster bomb, which we're going to use later. The other one contains a dynamite, which he's going to use here to open up the well and make the artillery go down to where the captain is. It's also, as you can see, positioned Worm 2.
Yeah.
I can't get enough of that.
Yeah.
It's just so fun to say. It's positioning him. He actually phased into the worm so that it was in the same position, so they land in the same place there. Now, Worm 1 has less than 43 HP as a result of that airstrike from the captain, and that's good because Mablak's now going to do another quarter pixel lining up jump there, so that he can now fire this bazooka down at a specific terrain marker there, which launches both his worm and the field soldier through the hole that he created earlier with the first bazooka on the first turn. The field soldier we blew up there is going to blow up, and then the grave damage there is going to kill off this field soldier. And finally, the pièce de résistance here. You notice, because of the position with Worm 2 and artillery, the captain ended their turn standing on top of their heads, which means Mablak can now just place a cluster bomb here. And it's basically the same as Banana Trick, this, but with a cluster bomb instead, which is slightly weaker, but it'll be enough to blow up our two worms and launch Captain.
101, we got it. Well. He almost escaped. Usually it does like almost exactly 100. Occasionally he can live, but usually it's like right on the money, sort of.
Yeah. It's a great mission, that one, because it's like, I think the weapons make it seem a bit boring at first, but that strat is just so fun.
Yeah, and that strat really improved a lot over time. It used to be like a fair bit slower. Let's run a wooden ambush. Have to jetpack immediately, collect a sheep crate. Okay. Ooh, that's I don't know about those.
It's a little spread that, yeah. What Mablak ideally wanted there was those two worms to land pretty much together. Because that will ensure that the next turn goes swimmingly. Before that turn, though, what Mablak's done is he ended the turn there by jetpacking up fairly high here so that it manipulates the field soldier here on the left into firing a bazooka at Worm 4. This is because we can't actually reach those two worms yet, so Mablak wants the CPU to open up a tunnel so that we can actually do that ourselves. He's now going to throw a grenade down this little gap here to follow the sheep, and hopefully, if this is right, it will knock the two worms in. Unfortunately, because of the position they landed in after the sheep there, that field soldier, as we sort of anticipated, didn't quite go in. But Mablak has placed Worm 1 in a position here, which will hopefully entice this field soldier into opening up with a bazooka. Wind's looking good here, so we should get this.
Should be fine. Yeah, so we got...
Yeah, there we go.
Yeah, this is basically like one extra turn, but it's not really a big deal. So let's see, we can just kind of Uzi this guy in, or grenade, or whatever we want.
Yeah, it's like this is kind of a shopper mission, this one as well. But Mablak only really grabs one crate, which is the sheep, because like you don't need any of the others. You've got enough basic stuff.
Yeah,
that you can use.
These guys on the right, on the left, will they'll just continue to dig because they're like firing at worm 4. So they just create a hole for us. It's wonderful. And I'm going to try and kill them by laying a grenade, walking to the right, blasting my worm into the right field soldier, and we should be able to get both of them. What's nice about this, I can lay the grenade, just walk right, and we get it. So we create the hole first, then we knock them in.
Yes. Now, do you need me to be quiet during the first shot here, Mablak, or?
Sure. Once I lay the grenade.
Yeah, sure. Okay. But basically, I'll just explain this quickly. This one's called Go Bananas. Mablak going for a pretty frame-specific shot here. Didn't quite get it there. What he's trying to do there is he's trying to use the grenade here to launch himself over to the right using a frame-perfect jump. So he's going to try it again.
Watch this.
Wow, that's pretty bad. That's
It's a very tough shot to get, this one.
take some
like,
retries
and
for sure. But
yes,
I've also been
absolutely.
practicing with 1 second, which is not good because it throws off my timing.
Watch this. Grenade.
Yeah, I use 1 second for mine because that's how I learnt this strat from Peachy originally. But I've tried 3 seconds. I just can't make it work. But different people have different fuses they use for this.
Watch this. Take cover.
Okay.
And that looks, there we go. We got it.
Hooray.
Yeah. So yeah, that is a very tough strat to
That's-
do there. The reason you want to do that is because there's just not many good movement tools to use in this mission. There's like a low grav that becomes available like many turns in. So that cuts out the whole middle section of this mission, which makes it significantly quicker. Even if you have to reset it a few times, it's quicker to do that. And the objective of this mission is to grab that crate down there, which appropriately contains a banana bomb. And so Mablak's just going to blow torch down and fall in. And now Mablak here is resetting this mission 4 times. This is the last bronze medal mission of the game. Any mission that requires more than 4 attempts, you get a bronze medal for. Anything 1 or more is silver, and then the first attempt you do it is gold. So reason he did that resets there is you get a shotgun crate with 2 shotguns in it. That's going to help a lot with this mission, the drop zone. First thing Mablak is doing there is he is doing a, not necessarily frame perfect, but he's doing specific timing on that shot there so that it knocks the worm into the mine that's next to him and blows them onto the adjacent worm there. He's then aiming the shotgun down using the worm sprite changes to gauge if he's got the right angle there. And as he does that, during the retreat time, he back jumps or bump jumps rather off the side of the cliff there just to knock in that worm in. So you get 4 worms of the 6 killed in 1 turn.
Yeah, and sprite changes are an interesting way of getting to an exact right angle. So like the angle, sorry, the angle your worm is at, the sprites don't actually change for every single angle, just every like few angles essentially. So I'm getting to the 4th sprite change down here so that I can shoot this captain. So that's one way I can tell my exact angle on this shot.
Yeah, it's called notching. Mablak mentioned it during the Worms World Party run as well. But like Mablak is now from that previous position, he is using a certain number of notches. A notch being like one sort of slight, like one movement of
the smallest angle that you can move at.
Yeah, in order to be able to shoot that final worm off. The way you're supposed to do that mission is to just parachute your worms down and use suicide bombers to kill them off, but that's long. And it's RNG based as well. Now, Mablak switched the full background on again for this mission, countdown to Armageddon. Reason he did that for that first turn is to time that grenade so that the field soldier here is going to be manipulated into not firing a bazooka at worm 3 that knocks the major out of place. This is because it makes this mission significantly quicker.
Yeah, it's not a very like, it's not a fancy manip exactly. It's just a manip so that things don't go haywire.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. And so over here, 2, 3, I'm getting to a precise position. I'm going to shoot these 2 field soldiers into each other and use my worm to knock into the right field soldier, killing them. And our general strat here is piling all the worms in the middle. We used to have it so that we would pile all the worms in the middle and kill them there. But then, I had the idea like, okay, why don't we just move the pile to the left? So we're getting the worms to the middle, then we're going to bat them into that artillery worm.
Yeah, because that's just not the way you're supposed to do this mission, by the way. You'll notice there's a VIP in the middle, the politician who we are charged with protecting on this mission. And the reason this mission is called Countdown to Armageddon is I think it's after 8 or 9 turns, there will be an Armageddon actually happening with loads of meteors raining down. And you're supposed to use girders to actually protect the politician from that Armageddon. But it's quicker to just kill all the enemy worms off before the Armageddon even comes. And also, it's much more consistent.
Yeah,
as well,
unfortunately.
'cause
You did have...
the Armageddon is RNG related.
Yeah,
so-
you've done like a see the Armageddon incentive. I should have had that. So we're gonna try and bat the worms, and ideally they die, and just do a death chain of grave animations that kill all of them. But we never know if a worm is gonna escape or not. This is looking good.
Yeah, this looks pretty optimum. Like, often there's an artillery worm there who can get knocked out of the pile here, but this is going pretty solid. I think
Wow.
Mablak got it. Yeah,
Yeah.
there we go. Nice.
Sweet.
Very tough to get that bat there. It's just hard to light up because you never quite know what the configuration is going to be of the worms in the original bat pit
Right.
there.
So it's like not fully repeatable. But when it
Yeah.
happens, it saves you like a whole turn. It's like fantastic.
This mission is called Mars Star. This is the only mission where you can use as many worms as you like during the turn. And so what Mablak doing here, he has to blow up the crate on the right. He is lining up the grenade on that spaceship there. He is going to fire 2 of them at once. One of them will blow that leg out, and then the other one will go in. And and
That
then
was an
blow up the crate.
accident. If I did...
Yeah, I know, but it's like a nice little firework display to kind of celebrate the success of that mission. You notice as the grenades were flying as well, Mablak placed a grenade in midair there from a girder starter pack. Sorry, not girder. I keep getting the words grenade and girder mixed up, but like
Grenade
placed a
starter
girder.
pack.
Yeah, the grenade starter pack. 5 grenades to teach you how to use them. And that just basically, it was like playing Pong with grenades, basically. You just place that in the middle of the air and it deflects the grenade into the target.
I have a like IL strat for that one, which is it's still like Pong with grenades, but it's like slightly more advanced and not repeatable.
It's really good though. It's well worth looking that video up. Now this is Mad Cows. Not much of a gimmick behind this one, although this shot is particularly fun. You're going to try and get a double kill here, and Mablak got it there just by positioning worm 4 on the side of the cow's horns there, so that the grenade knocked him into the lower worm and the mine.
Yeah, and now would be a good time if there's any like donations, anything to read out. I think now would be totally good.
Yeah.
I can certainly oblige with that because we have a $10 anonymous donation that goes toward the Play with Kitties incentive that is coming up in the Palico run that we have in one more run after this one. We are still about $60 short of meeting that incentive. So, yeah. You still have a little bit of time, guys, to get that match, but not that much longer. So please go ahead, get those donations, and put on the what that Play with the Kitties incentive, because obviously we want to see that happen, right? Right? Yeah, I thought so.
Okay, so now here comes a particularly odd AI manipulation that Mablak found. This is a called Bazooka on the Rocks, this mission. Mablak is positioning his camera very specifically there in order to be able to gauge if he's getting a specific shot there, which he has got.
Oh, yeah.
You have to do that on the very first frame that this mission starts. So you just have to buffer the shot and then get the exact angle before the bazooka actually fires. By doing this, this gets this great AI manipulation whereby this captain ends up killing himself and the adjacent captain by blowing up the oil drum there.
Committing double captain side.
Yes.
And
yeah, that was very, very well done to get that on the first try. That's another clap in chat, I think, that one.
Thanks. I had to retool that for this resolution, actually. As you might have noticed, I moved the screen to a specific location. I should show you that because you use a 4x3.
Yeah, right? I use the stripes in the background, which is a bit less
It seems less
guaranteeable
reliable.
at the moment. Yeah. And here, as you see, Mablak then, because of the way the Major is positioned there, he can just fall off that oil drum there, fire a shot directly forward, and that knocks them into the mine and kills them off. That mission used to be a lot less pleasant.
Yeah.
And
Probably the most evil mission because you just have bazooka and the wind can be like whatever. And bazooka's
Yeah.
affected by wind.
Now, Mablak here going to do some stealth roping underneath the Microprose logo here, and very nicely negotiate past those mines here. That's quite a scary strat to do. This mission's called Stolen Goods. Object here is to kill the enemy worms off. We don't start with many weapons, so Mablak has blowtorched into the O of Microprose, taking some damage on the field soldier as he did it, and grabbed a great weapon called the French Sheep Strike. And if we do have any French in chat, your national anthem is going to play very soon. So I hope you all react to it in the appropriate way. Now, Worm 2 there got killed off by that cluster bomb there. That shouldn't necessarily be too much of a problem, but we'll see because this sheep strike is quite RNG. Basically, 5 flaming sheep are going to fall onto the field soldiers. And they've knocked 3 of them out, and 1 of them's got knocked into the minefield. That's probably one of the most violent sheep strikes I've ever seen.
Oh man. Yeah, at times the worms can be just flung like off the screen, like. But yeah, we got it. We got a quad kill, that's pretty much the best outcome we can get. So that's fantastic.
Yeah, sometimes you have to do a bit of cleanup on that one, but you've got things like shotguns and Uzis, so those usually are enough to kill them off unless things go really wrong. Now, this mission is called Sinking Ice Cap. You only have blowtorches to kill the enemy worms off here, so we're going to do a couple of things to try and speed this up a bit. He's killed that first one off and gone through the tree. He's now going to do 4 jumps during the retreat time here, which is very tight, as you only get 5 seconds of retreat time. But he's positioned Worm 1 on Assassin's head here. What this is going to do is manipulate Assassin into doing an airstrike on Worm 1. However, because Worm 1's on his head, he falls off the Assassin as the airstrike is activated, hits the mine, interrupting the airstrike, and actually kills the Assassin off during that Assassin's turn.
Yeah, he just like dooms himself. It's we're gonna see. Oh, well, actually, I was gonna say. Yeah, sorry. Keep talking.
This is the optimum. This is the optimum HP that Mablak's got here. Ideally, you want to get end up with 7 HP or less from that airstrike there. Mablak has got it, which means that, or 8 HP rather, which means that he can do that jump down there just to kill the second assassin off as well. Usually it hits the mine, didn't on that occasion, but it was fine. It was still enough damage to kill them off. And because on this mission, like several others in this run, the game doesn't actually care if your worm survives. It just cares if you achieve your objective on the last turn. So here now we've got aim long, aim true. And if you ever had trouble throwing grenades in this game, this is kind of a masterclass on how you can do it.
Yeah, so we have a girder pack, and we just have to place a precise series of girders just to get our grenades.
Yeah, so now Mablak here is going to use the terrain there and the worm sprite just to line up this first shot here. And all of these, apart from one, I think are going to be full power shots. This first one here knocks this right-hand grenadier down into the middle. He's now going to explode and do about 13 damage on the adjacent grenadier. Now, the first girder that Mablak placed there actually stops this grenadier from aiming at us, which is useful.
It's also a funnel, so that our grenade is going to just sink in there. And ideally, we're going to kill that grenadier. He's going to launch into the lower grenadier and kill him with grave damage. So let's see the funnel do its job. Oh, a little further than I...
Good. Oh, that's fine. That'll be fine.
It should be good.
Yeah, as you can see, now he's right on the other grenadier, so this is probably going to come in about 21, 22, I think. 23. Excellent.
Sweet.
Yes, so
now we just have to kill the far right guy. So see if you can triangulate how we're going to do that.
Yes. One of these girders, by the way, Mablak is not even using. He just placed it there to get it out of the way. But Mablak has set max bounce for this particular grenade, lining up the shot. Bit of a difficult one to get, but Mablak has got it, and he's lined up those girders in a specific way that means that the grenade actually lands next to the gem and knocks them into the water as well, which is very impressive.
Okay, goody two shoes. I'm gonna attempt the sheepnado. I think
Yes.
once.
Okay. So this is the legendary new strat that Mablak has found for this mission. So you start this mission with very few weapons, but you get an aqua sheep. And it was always implied, because it was an aqua sheep, that you could guide the sheep underneath the water, collect these crates from above, as it's a bit of a shopper mission, and use the weapons. But we couldn't really find a consistent way of doing that until now. So Mablak has lined up the camera specifically on this turn so that he can try and launch this aqua sheep. He's going to drop it into the water. Just before it drowns in the water, he's going to actually launch the aqua sheep and curl it around.
Okay, we got
Using
it
pause
out.
buffering just to get it out there. And now what he's going to do is he's going to grab the one crate that he needs for this, which is the airstrike. And he's now going to basically try and line this sheep up so it hits a precise position here, which will launch this field soldier into the nearby field soldiers. And he got it with just 2 revolutions as well. That is incredible.
Yes. Oh my god.
So very, very well done. That deserves all the claps that you've got in chat.
Thank you.
You notice he was pause buffering as well, just to ensure that he got that angle straight away.
Damn. Yeah, so like sometimes you can spend like a minute just like swirling your sheep around and trying to get to the right spot. Luckily I didn't have to do that. Now we have an airstrike to finish these guys off. And I'm just lining up my cursor. So it's just to the right of the major's name.
Very, very well done.
Thanks. Yeah, that is the first time I've gotten the sheepnado that good in an actual run.
It's a very, very recent discovery, that one. Like, it was the fact that you could aqua sheep around and do that was known for a while. But
there's no way to do it consistently. But I realized like pause buffering can actually allow us to get multiple shots at doing it. So like if I didn't get it lined up correctly, I would just keep circling my sheep, checking if it was lined up, and then like letting the sheep drop if it was.
Yeah. So this mission's called Trouble in Toy Store. First shot that Mablak did was a specific grenade shot there, just to kill the 2 far left worms off in one go. Now Mablak is going to do a long distance cluster trick there. So he's lining up this cluster bomb here so that it explodes underneath the captain there. And this is a pretty good outcome for this, actually. Well, ish. It's not quite a kill on the 2 of them, but they're in a position that should be relatively easy to polish these 2 off now.
So yeah, I can also set off that mine to kill them. I'll try. Let's see. I'll try a mortar.
Yeah, mortar. For those who don't know, mortar is one of the most powerful weapons in the game. In Worms 2 only. in Worms Armageddon, it is phenomenally weak. It is so flimsy, as you notice there. Well, and there it is. There's the demonstration. There's the proof of the pudding right there.
You can hit them dead on and like they just won't die. But let's see. How should I handle this? I guess I'll just wait for the homing. Yeah, whatever.
Because I know this means that the sniper gets another turn now as well, because they're still alive. But or you could just use.
I'll just wait for the homing, because yeah.
It's kind of impressive. We haven't talked about the VIP on this one yet, and they're always kind of an afterthought in this, because that's a scientist that you can see just to the left there with a kind of slightly unhealthy glow to them. That scientist is poisoned. You're supposed to save them from the enemy worms, but to be honest with you, that assassin down there is the only one who really tends to try and attack them. And yeah, we don't really need to worry that much about this, because even with that dynamite that Mablak placed there in order to dig a hole towards assassin, as you can see, still got 51 health, so not a real issue in this mission at all. Mablak, they're doing the last cluster trick of the run.
Okay, we still have one worm alive, so that crate contains a homing missile. I was considering I can actually walk over to those 2 mines, and if I just land on the first mine, it'll hit the second mine into sniper, but I don't really want to take all that travel time. So I think this is the easier way.
Yeah, although the homing missile arcs can be a little difficult to get the measure of for newer players, just because like the hour that you fire the homing missile at will dictate what the turning circle is on it. So sometimes it won't necessarily go directly to the cross, depending on what you do. But Mablak, the seasoned pro that he is, knew exactly where to aim the crosshairs there.
We're on to the final mission, Spectral Recovery. So for this one, we start off with a blowtorch, and it's actually important that I blowtorch in this way and retreat all the way to the left. But we have 3 worms on top of the map, and they're kind of a pain. So we're waiting for a crate to fall on the far left side of the map. We're supposed to lay a girder to catch the crate so it doesn't fall into the ocean, and then collect the crate. So that's the goal. So the normal way to do this mission is to sort of avoid these top worms, but we're actually gonna just do something different and kill them off. When in doubt, just kill the worms.
Yeah, absolutely. First way he's going to do this is he's lining up this 2-second shot here with max bounce, which is going to knock the left-hand captain in. And as the retreat time happens after that, he uses that to jump knock the right-hand worm into the water. So that's 2 of them killed.
2 down.
And then this captain here is the last foe to vanquish.
The captain is enraged.
He's pretty angry looking, isn't he?
Coming down,
I mean,
step by step.
This has never happened before. I don't know what's going to happen here. He might actually get you.
Yeah, he's really taking his time. Oh.
It was pretty close.
I thought that time he was going to get me.
That.
I thought that was going to be the first time that he actually gets me, man.
Yeah. Well, one of these days. So Mablak's just killed off the final captain there with a blowtorch, being careful to avoid the oil drum, of course. And now that all the enemy worms are killed, you might think this mission should end. But as Mablak mentioned, the object is actually to collect a crate that's going to fall into the water on the left-hand side. So he needs to get this girder in the middle to be able to do this, and then go all the way to the left, place the girder, and skip go until the turn arrives. Because now that all the enemy worms have been killed, we get all of their turns as well.
Yeah, so it's kind of a lonely, desolate map now, but it's nice to have all this free time. So I think in these final moments, we can. Are there any final donations to be read?
Hey, Schmott.
Give me just a second while I refresh the page. What I can do, however, is remind you who we are. We are Indiethon, and we are a triannual charity event showcasing all types of indie games. We're doing speedruns of games you may not have heard before to help support little warriors in their efforts to raise awareness for child sexual abuse. For more information on our events, visit indiethon.com in your favorite browser.
Right. Sorry.
Go ahead.
Time's coming up very shortly.
Okay, so once this crate falls on my worm's head, I get it. Then the screen will go to the congratulations screen, and that's when time is. And we can do shout outs too. Shout out to the whole speedrunning community.
Yes.
Let's see, Psych, Ruffled Bricks, of course, who has been amazing running this game constantly, doing these 12-hour marathons. He's amazing. And, oh wait, almost time.
Here it is.
And time.
GG.
GG. Wow. Hell of a run. From my clock, I got like 102, which is like really
That was very good.
good. The Sheep NATO, man. I'm so stoked that I got that. That's so cool.
Yeah, shout out to, if you are interested in the speed running of Worms games of any kind, then do please check out the Worms speed running Discord server, which myself, Mablak, Psychotropic, and Charles are in charge of. But yeah, shout out to everyone who's contributed strats to this run over the years, chiefly Mablak, who was has a tireless capacity for routing these games.
Thank you.
And yeah, well, congratulations on an excellent run. And quick shout out for myself. I'm Ruffled Bricks. You can catch me at twitch.tv/Ruffled Bricks if you want to see some of those, some more of these kind of runs.
Yeah, and I'm Mablak on Twitch. It's MAB1AK. I have a 1 for the L. I don't know why. But yeah, check us out for sure. Also, so people know, Worms Armageddon is on Steam. Really cheap, extremely well patched, extremely bug free thanks to Deadcode, who's maintained the game for like 15 years. It's
Yeah.
super easy to get a hold of and play yourself. And yeah, come join us at the speedrunning Discord.
All right. Thank you so much, Mablak and Ruffle Bricks, for this awesome Worms block. Coming up, we have Hazazel with a Spelunky series triathlon. So we'll just go to a quick intermission and then we'll be back with even more speedruns for you guys. Don't go anywhere.